We're driving cars on a Mars tonight. We're blasting off to the stars tonight. We wanna go, go. We wanna go, go.
So we're sat here with the Tiger 900, and Sascha also has owned the KTM 790 and the KTM 890 now, and those are the main competitors. If you want a mid-size bike that will travel the world, go off-road with a 21-inch front tire, in that price range, I really feel like those are your two go-to bikes. So can you tell us a little bit about where each of those is stronger, and which one you like better?
Well, the Tiger 900 Rally basically is 50-50. If you enjoy on-road riding, if you enjoy off-road riding, and you like to travel, that bike is great. It is really nice to ride on the road. The engine, it pulls, it is agile, it is quick, it's just nice to ride on road and off road. It's very, very well balanced, even for the rally version, right? That's supposed to be more off road oriented. So, in my biased opinion, there's no need to buy the GT, right? But so that is basically 50-50. The 790R, the 890R. They're off-road biased, basically, if you really like to go on longer stretches and you really enjoy off-road riding, then that model is the model that will make you happy. It rides still very well on road, but I basically treat it like a supermoto on road, right? You can cruise. There is a difference between the 790 engine and the 890 engine now. It is a little bit smoother for me personally. It has a little more grunt, but we all changed this front sprocket a little bit, and so the 790 has just a little bit more torque in the low ends, a little bit lower top speed, but so it feels similar to the 890 after we've adjusted the sprockets, but the 890 is a little more smoother than the 790. It's I don't feel a difference in steering because they switched out the steering stem from steel to aluminum. I don't feel a difference. I never had a problem with the clutch on my 790. The clutch is stronger now on the 890. I don't feel a difference. The 790 was fine with me. But yeah, the 890 is for people who enjoy off-road riding and want to just have a little bit more comfort than on a 690 or on, for example, your 450, these dual sport bikes. Then the 890R is definitely something to look into because that thing can ride.
Yeah. Yeah, and we recently had an ADV Cross event, and the top two contenders were on 790 or 890s.
790s, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Both of them were 790s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I honestly, looking at them, I can't tell the difference between a 790 and an 890.
They're absolutely the same.
Yeah.
different color scheme only, but from the outside, it's exactly the same bike.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people might we're getting a little bit off topic from the Tiger, but I think a lot of people might have thought that the smaller 390 might have an advantage in more technical stuff. But do you think it was rider skill that brought the 890 to the top or the 790 to the top, or do you think it was just that bike is superior?
Very, very simple. According to my opinion, the 390 ADV, the 250 ADV now, or even the 310 GS, they're all entry-level bikes. It's basically what you pay is what you get. Usually you would say, yes, smaller bikes are more suitable for technical areas, but that's it. Especially the 390 and the 250 ADV. It has a lot of electronics in it. Even the new 2022 bike has now is basically almost the same as the 890s now, but you have so little ground clearance. So yeah, and the suspension obviously is not adjustable, right? I mean, you can adjust the rear preload a little bit. That's it, right? And again, you get what you paid for. So the only thing in my experience that really is suitable for technical riding is the size. Right? Yes, it's smaller. Even though for Asians here, the seat height is not that low. It's actually pretty high, right? So yes, if you have the skills, whatever, obviously you can ride any bike off-road, right? And to a certain limit, you have gold wings going off-road, right? But compared to a 790, 890, or for example, even the Tiger 900 Rally, the smaller bikes, they just lack almost everything else, right? Again, you can ride these things really well off-road, but do you have the same comfort doing that? Can you relax as much as on a bigger bike? That's where we have the question marks, right? You have Quinn Cody, doing wheelies up a hill, going uphill, right, on the new demo video, whatever. So obviously you can do almost everything on any bike. The question is just how much skills do you need and how comfortable, how much fun do you have? That's it. And in my opinion, the 390 and the 250 is just to get your feet wet, because that's our experience. We had 3 ADV experience days just a couple weeks ago, and almost all 390 ADV owners or 250 ADV owners, after experiencing what their bikes can actually do off-road, they were all looking at the 890s, all of them, right? So once they realize, the 890 is a bigger bike, but it's not a huge bike, and you don't want to, attend the Red Bull Romaniacs or whatever, they're just more than just size to riding.
Yeah. So bringing it back to the Tiger, one of the obvious differences is those side tanks that are on the 790, and the Tiger has your traditional tank that that goes on top of the bike, right? Do you feel like that's a big difference in center of gravity and riding on road and off road?
Well, actually, center of mass. That's actually even more what I like about the 790 and 890. The thing is, it's hard for me to go back. I have no problems riding this bike or the Tenere. They're great bikes, and they feel like my Africa Twin and stuff. But yeah, when we're doing day trips, we don't really fill up the whole tank, so it doesn't really make that big of a difference. But when we do like longer trips and I put in 20 liters, for example, then it makes a difference, right? I had the 1290R ones for our island round trip, and the gas gauge was broken. So I had no idea how much gas was left, and I'm too lazy to do the math in my head about, looking at the mileage or whatever, right? So basically, every half day I filled the whole thing up. And a lot of times, right after we filled up the whole gas tank, we hit a trail. And it makes a difference, right? When you have 20-something liter in the tank, and it's a conventional tank that is all on top, when you hit a trail, it feels different, right? So is it essential? No. But it does make a difference, and some people still prefer traditional tanks, which is fine. So to me personally, test it and see what works for you. It's just fun when you fill up the 790s and 890s, because they feel very different. If you fill up 20 liters in these two tanks and you ride fully loaded, basically, the bike feels very special. Right? It almost feels like a lighter GS. Right? So it's very interesting to ride then, right? And by no means bad, right? But again, like I said, it is only, the biggest difference is when you fill up the whole gas tank, right? And then you hit a trail. Then you will really feel, okay, do you like it or not?
So do those tanks on the 790 and 890, do they offer some crash protection that the Tiger doesn't have?
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so that's why, if you have one of these big skid plates plus crash bars, it's almost like a tank, right? The problem is not with that, and actually we had people crashing the 790s, actually even going down, cliffs and stuff, and nothing happened. Nothing. It's just one thing that KTM needs to address as some details. The crash bar mount on the top, in the middle. It's just like 2 tick welds, whatever, and it just breaks. Like the nut on the other side just breaks. So before you put on a crash bar, you have to reinforce that. But the tanks themselves are actually pretty sturdy, and I like that because it gives me just a little bit more ease of mind. Because I did actually puncture the clutch side of my Africa Twin. And that was not a fun experience, So that's just extra protection. I mean, it makes the bike wider, so you have to keep that in account. We did a ride last week and it was really technical. You had to go around logs and everything, and I got stuck between a log in the front and a log right next to my tank, and I could actually park my bike right there then, right, because it just was lodged between these two, right. So some people don't like that. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of that because it really feels almost like a GS. But it's I can live with that.
You can't really have your cake and eat it too. So
exactly. But no, coming like crash protection wise, it is really, I like it, and not only crash protection wise, but actually lifting up the bike, because it is similar again, also like a GS. So it doesn't really fall 90 degrees. Right, so it is just a little bit easier to pick up, right? So I like that a lot. Right, so to me, the tank is fine, absolutely fine.
Yeah. So a little bit more of a touchy subject is reliability, right?
Yeah.
Your blood runs orange. If you cut Sascha, he bleeds orange, but his KTM is in the shop right now, and I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are on Triumph versus KTM reliability.
Okay, well, my Africa Twin was the best. That's simple, right?
Well, yeah, we're not bringing up the Japanese bikes because
no, but it's just again. I think it also has a lot to do with luck. That's simple, right? You have Honda Africa Twins that are rusting. You have KTMs that have never seen a recall. So, but yeah, mine is now finally in the shop. My 790 was all fine. 2 of my students, they had their rear suspension, rear shock got a seal blew out, so leaking all over the place. My 790R was fine. My 890 now just got that problem. So it's in the shop now. It's been in the shop now for about 3 weeks now. Finally, today I went over there. The shock has been taken care of now, finally.
But that's kind of the thing with anything in Taiwan, even the Japanese bikes. If it goes into the shop for something and it needs parts, they don't keep anything on hand, and it's just what it is. And I feel like it'd be the same if the Triumph broke. But in your limited or not so limited experience with Triumphs and KTMs, which one do you feel like is the more reliable choice?
Triumph. I think so far, there, as far as I know, here, there haven't been any recalls. Nothing broke like severely, unless it was rider error, whatever, no. So in that case, I would say Triumph, right, straight away. So with KTMs, you had the official master cylinder recall, then the suspension leaking. It's just I had I got used to it. I mean water condensation inside the speedometer. I got used to that. It's just really baffles me how you can produce something like this now. I don't know, but and it's funny because they just tell you directly, well, we can change it, but then a week later you're going to be here again. So that's just how they build. Like, okay, right. Yeah, so Triumph, hands down, and you have to see if you can live with that, and Big Michael, he has a 790R, and on a tour, last island tour, the first day crossing over to the East Coast, all of a sudden he had key failure, so his bike wouldn't start, wouldn't recognize the key. Wow. So, but yeah, took it out, put it back in, and then okay. But yeah, it happened only that day and only 3 times, and then nothing. And it's just yeah. Well, it's just exciting also, on and off the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did ride your 790, and it is exciting. Like the way that it delivers power, the way it feels like a big dirt bike, literally feels like a big dirt bike. And people say that a lot about adventure bikes. But coming from straight up dirt bike background, most of them don't. But that one does. When you sit on it, you're like, okay, this feels like a dirt bike. And the way it delivers power, it's just so exciting. It's so fun. It's fantastic off-road. And if you can put up with a few niggles here and there, it's worth it for you, right? But I feel like if you want to get on there and go across the world, of those 2 bikes, I feel like the Tiger, might be the choice.
Yeah.
It's a better highway cruiser. It's a better on-road cruiser, and it might be the one for you. So if you like this content, like, subscribe, and join us again next time on Sideways, the podcast aimed at educating motorcyclists.